Good morning, Cullman. Thank you for tuning in to Cullman Today. I'm your host, Cheyenne Sharp, and today is Thursday, September 5th. We have a lot to look at in local news today, including information on a missing Cullman man, Cullman Community Band, and the Cullman Tribune's Pet of the Week. All this plus sports, weather, and more. But for now, let's dive into the top stories happening in Cullman today. On Tuesday evening, Morgan County investigators and Coroner Jeff Chun responded to Highway 55 in the Coal Spring area near Eva, where a body had been located. The subject had been reported missing in Blount County earlier this year. In May, a single vehicle wreck occurred at this location and state troopers responded and located the vehicle, but no one was present at the scene. About the same time, family members reported 24-year-old Cody Martin missing to authorities in Blount County. Upon recently learning of the wreck, Cody's sister searched the area on Tuesday evening and located the body. According to reports from news station WAFF 48 News, Chun says 34-year-old Cody Austin Martin of Cullman crashed his truck by hitting a telephone pole on Highway 55 East, just outside of Falkville on May 30th. He says the truck was located in May, but Martin's body was not discovered until just before 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday by his sister, who had retraced his steps. Chun believes Martin was dazed, confused, and injured from the wreck before wandering off into the woods where he succumbed to his injuries. Chun says he was able to identify Martin by a dental profile. Next up, the Cullman County Fair Office is gearing up for the 2024 Cullman County Fair. If you plan to enter the dairy cattle or goat, pet, lamb and meat goat, junior cattle or junior horse shows, you need to register online by September 11th to ensure you receive gate passes to the fair to participate. Visit cullmanfair.org to register first as an exhibitor and then for each show in which you plan to participate. To finish out our top stories, the Harmony Youth Basketball Association is in need of a parent or individual who would be willing to volunteer as its association president. Sign-ups for players are happening now, and without a president, the season remains unsure. Contact Heather Jones at 256-338-9396 for any interest in joining. Now that we have the top stories out of the way, we're going to take a quick break before returning with sports. Hello and welcome back. Now it's time to find out what's going on in the world of sports. Let's lead off today's sports segment with a recap of some of this week's local volleyball action. West Point was back home Tuesday night hosting a tri-match with Cullman and Addison, and all three teams left the gym with a win. The Lady Warriors took over the first match over Cullman 2-0, and the Lady Bearcats bounced back with a 2-1 win over Addison in the second match. And the Lady Bulldogs capped the night with a 2-1 win over West Point in the third match. All three teams will be back on the court tonight. West Point will travel to Danville, Cullman will head to Mortimer Jordan, and Addison will host Winston County. Moving over to some football news, the University of Alabama will formally dedicate Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium this Saturday, September 7th. Pre-game and halftime ceremonies will be held to celebrate the occasion. The Honorary Degrees and Recognition Committee of the University of Alabama System Board of Trustees unanimously passed a resolution on July 19th approving the naming honor. The Board of Trustees will formally adopt the resolution and present it to Saban at its September meeting later this week. Saturday's first ceremony, scheduled for approximately 2:30 p.m., will take place at the head of the Walk of Champions on University Boulevard, where the stadium signage will be unveiled following remarks from the university president, director of athletics, and former head football coach Nick Saban. From there, the Sabans will walk the Walk of Champions to take their first trip into Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. At halftime of Saturday's game versus South Florida, there will be an on-field recognition for the Sabans at the conclusion of the $1 Million Band performance. Additionally, commemorative game programs will be on sale throughout the perimeter and inside the stadium, and commemorative game tickets will be available for purchase following the game. That covers sports for today, but make sure to check with the Cullman Tribune each day for the latest in sports coverage from across the area. We'll be back after this message. Hello and welcome back to Cullman Today. Now it's time to speed things up with the news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Cullman Regional Medical Group was excited to share the first day photo of the hospital's new group pediatricians, Dr. Chris Dodd, Dr. John Licata, and Dr. Andrew Jones. Tuesday was the first day of Cullman Regional's new pediatric clinic location, and it was Dr. Dodd's and Dr. Licata's first day at Cullman Regional entirely. Don't forget to join CRMC Pediatrics on Saturday, September 14th for a mini Fall Fest with games, giveaways, and a chance to tour the new clinic and meet the new providers. The Guy Hunt Library has a spectacular event lined up for October 24th at 10:30 a.m., a special book signing by local author Marlena Smith, a Holly Pond High School graduate of 2004. She has published 2 books, Ella and The Power of Love, both clean romance novellas that reflect the charm and warmth of her experiences. Marlena spends her days working with churches to help them grow and her nights weaving tales that resonate with her readers. Join the Guy Hunt Library on the 24th to meet Marlena, purchase her books, and get them personally signed. The Cullman Community Band is gearing up to begin its fall season on Monday, September 9th, and is looking for participants. The Community Band is a collective of musicians of all walks, ages, and abilities. The group comes together to perform concerts regularly and provide entertainment for many of the festivals and community events held locally throughout the year. There is no audition or member fee to participate in the band, only the necessary time to attend rehearsals and performances. Interested musicians need only show up to the first rehearsal to secure their spot in the band. Meet Clifford, not quite the big red dog, but just as loving. This beautiful shepherd mix is approximately 2 years old. His low energy comes in an unassuming fellow who wants nothing more than to be with you. Clifford has a gentle and polite nature, especially when taking food from your hands. He is ever so quiet and patient in his kennel. Clifford is just waiting for his new home to share his love. His trusting stare melts your heart, and he is a wonderful example of a therapy, companion, or hiking dog. Come see Clifford today at the Cullman County Animal Shelter, and if he's not there, don't worry. He has many friends just waiting for you to take them home. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be back after this message.
What's in the magazine? October's peeking in. Oktoberfest in Cullman, let the fun begin. Heroes in our town, business all around, recipes for sharing, joy everywhere found. Colonel Cullman cheers, history in our ears, community so bright, polka through the night. Sports spotlight today, kids come out to play, fields and courts are buzzing in the autumn sway. Germans came to stay, crafts and brews on display. Cullman's heart is glowing in the polka way. Colonel Cullman cheers, history in our ears, community so bright, polka through the night.
Welcome back. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have lost their lives this week as we turn to obituaries. Sandra Jo Wallace. Sandra Jo Wallace, 77 of Hanceville, passed away on Sunday, September 1st at her residence. Funeral service for Mrs. Wallace will be at 1 p.m. on Thursday, September 5th at Cullman Heritage Funeral Home, with Cody McCain officiating. Burial will be at Good Hope Cemetery. Visitation will be from noon to 1 p.m. on Thursday, September 5th at Cullman Heritage Funeral Home. Cullman Heritage Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Vetra Daisy Johnson Shoemaker. Vetra Daisy Johnson Shoemaker, 81 of Vinemont, passed away on Monday, September 2nd. Funeral service for Mrs. Shoemaker will be held on Friday, September 6th at 1 p.m. at Moss Service Funeral Home Chapel. Interment will follow services at Bethel Baptist Church Cemetery in the Blair community. Visitation will be on Thursday, September 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Moss Service Funeral Home. That finishes up obituaries for today. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their families and friends. Now, let's take a look at today's weather forecast. Today is set to be partly sunny with a high near 85. Tonight has a 20% chance of showers after 1 a.m., but mostly cloudy with a low of around 64. Tomorrow shows a 30% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high of 77. And tomorrow night should be mostly cloudy with a low of around 60. That concludes another edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. I'm Cheyenne Sharp with Cullman Today, wishing you a terrific Thursday, Cullman.